Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
This makes a lot of sense. There is no cure for birth and death, but all of us should enjoy the interval. I agree. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. Followed by, come on, somebody call in with a pledge today. My goodness, get out of bed. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, Kate Smith. I appreciate it. And welcome to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the big spring tire sale. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them today, 734-6969. Right now, let's head to the phone line and hopefully have a person to do our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning again.
You again?
I've had the urge to do the pledge.
The urge. Okay, well, urge, go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, and I really do appreciate your doing it, Wheels. I really do. But you know what? I also urge others to call because I want to see a show of support for the freedom of speech and the honoring of our country with the Pledge of Allegiance. So, again, I thank you, but I think others should get out of bed and get it done.
You're welcome. I definitely agree. It feels like we are losing our freedom each and every
day. Amen.
So, yes.
All right. Don't do wheelies there. Just hang tough by the control board, okay?
Will do. So.
All right, time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by Lennox Home Comfort Systems. The birds are singing in the trees, and Ramsey Heating and Electric, they say for a comfortable home this season, they're offering up to a $1,700 rebate on a qualifying new Lennox system that can keep your home feeling perfect inside, no matter what's happening outside. Call them today at 678-0459, Ramsey Heating and Electric. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Rainy and windy is a typical spring mantra here in southern Idaho, and that's what we are going to expect for today. Here is your weather forecast. Winds out of the southwest, right around 24 miles an hour. We are expecting rain showers, about a 70% chance, off and on throughout the day, but mostly in the morning hours. High of 51, overnight low of 34. Tomorrow, winds are going to be dying down to about 13 miles an hour out of the west. Mostly sunny skies, high of 56 with an overnight low of 33. For the weekend, Saturday is going to be fairly nice. Partly cloudy skies, high of 65 with an overnight low of 44. Winds picking up again for Sunday. Afternoon rain showers are possible, about a 30% chance with a high of 62. And then as we kick off the work week on Monday, cloudy skies and 56. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, thank you very much, Gina. We appreciate it. Brought to you by Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox Home Comfort Systems. Hey, Merv May, come on in here. Let's sell some cattle.
All right.
right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer right there, right in our backyard. Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 678-9411. Merv May and Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, the whole crew that's working for you. Sale day today at 11 a.m. And here's some of the run I know's going through the ring. Ted Tracy of Elmo bringing down 80 head of ripping good heifers. I think they're about 600 to 800 pounds. And BYU Ranch over to Malta bringing in 80 head of 500 to 600 pound cattle. Oh, good cattle coming through today. And Butcher Cow Run from Oak Valley Dairy, TLK Dairy, and Acme Dairy. Like I said, 11 o'clock starting time at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Yes, sir, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Don't forget Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy, 678-9411. The sale that works for you. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, and 5.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, and I sell them $1.35. Zeb Bell, get bottom again.
Merv, thank you very much. Folks, we got a lot of things to announce here this morning, and I'm going to get right to it. Today is Lunch Bunch Day. Now, I have told you over the last couple of weeks we're going to do an honor for the birthday boy that has got his birthday coming up in just a couple of weeks. But we wanted to do it at Lunch Bunch today, and that's in honor of 3 times Purple Heart recipient Russell Smith. Now, I want to tell you that we've got a great big cake. We have a lot of veterans that are going to be there. We are going to have a lovely lady, and I hope I say her name correctly. Alita Stringham is going to be there, and she's going to play the trumpet with a dissertation and explanation of taps. I am absolutely looking forward to this. We're going to tape the whole thing on video and sound and send it to Russell up in Pocatello. So everybody try to be there today at 11:30 at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, America's Diner. Absolutely. And try one of their new line of burgers. I want to see how many people are going to have all those delicious burgers. Oh, my. And anything you want on the menu, absolutely fantabulous. So be sure and stop in today and join us. 11:30, Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Also, just mentioned them a minute ago, and I'm going to do it again. That's our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. For all your heating and cooling and electrical needs, I don't care if you need just one little light bulb, they can help you at Ramsey Heating and Electric. They throw open the doors at 7:30 in the morning till 5 Monday through Friday. And just really nice people that have been serving you and the entirety of Magic Valley for over 50 years. Stop in and see them today. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Don't you forget it. Some birthday wishes today. First of all, to a very, very close friend of this program, has been ever since I started this program, and that's Jerry Voss. Happy birthday, Jerry. God bless you. And tomorrow, another lovely lady, and I'll see her today. I'll see both of them today at Lunch Bunch. Merla Denagle. I bit my tongue. Merla Denagle. Happy birthday tomorrow. Tomorrow's her birthday, and we thought we'd better do it today because I won't be on the air tomorrow. So happy birthday to those wonderful people. Boy, I'll tell you what, I know a business that's got all the equipment you need to get the job done right. I know there's a lot of cleanup and there's a lot of things going on, cleaning out those corrals and everything. Well, they've got all the Bobcat excavators at Berry Equipment and Rental. New and used excavators for sale or rent, and they've got all your equipment rentals, including those big Doosan loaders. Yeah, buddy. And, of course, all the retail equipment sales. 3 locations, South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. They do have all the equipment to get the job done right at Berry Equipment and Rental. You stop in and see them today. I'm a little hesitant to sound like I'm bragging. And I know a lot of you are going, oh, no, you're not, Zeb. You're just anxious to brag. Well, maybe to a point. But I did tell you yesterday I was the first one, I think, almost anywhere in the United States that came out and told you that Bill O'Reilly would be history. Bill O'Reilly was on now a permanent vacation. And Bill O'Reilly would not be back on Fox News. I also told you yesterday that Tucker Carlson would be shuttled into Bill O'Reilly's slot. And he is, starting next Monday. I give a lot of credit where credit is due to the sources that we use for this program back in New York and also Washington, D.C. I knew about this going to happen before it even went down or even became honestly a rumor. And I thank these people for keeping me informed. Bill O'Reilly had created a firestorm of hatred and unrest within Fox News, and the Murdoch family could not stand it anymore. And the sons and Rupert, the patriarch, finally yesterday, they made a decision while O'Reilly was over in Italy, as a matter of fact, and opened the gate and said, Bill, you're out of here. And honestly, I think it's going to make for much better programming, much better interviews, much better political landscaping, if you will. And I am a fan of Tucker Carlson to a point, but I think it's going to cause a regeneration of people telling honest news that you're not going to hear on MSNBC or their parent NBC or CBS or ABC or especially CNN. So I think it's going to open the door for even better reporting and more of a watchfulness, if you will, to make sure that things are run correctly. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. A little bit later on this morning, we're going to talk to Nick Greenwell, and he's going to be on the phone with us from Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. All you have to do is call them for an appointment and say, hey, please, I got a bad shoulder. Please, I just got out of the hospital with a bad knee. Please help me. I need to get in that hydrotherapy pool. 678-1191. 678-1191. They can and will help you get back to being you at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. You call them and arrange an appointment today. 678-1191. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeb. This is a compliment or whatever you want to call it, but your style was similar to Bill O'Reilly in the fact that you didn't want to tell it unless you knew it was a fact. And I admired him for that point, but I admire you also.
Well, that's very kind of you, but my wife and I, when we sat down and analyzed this program, I got to share something with you, Keith. About 6-7 months ago, with the health problems and some dominating problems that I just didn't know if I wanted to continue this program or not. And I had been through the ringer with the liberal Democratic left here in the state and across the region, and quite frankly also the United States. There were a lot of people that wanted to see me go out of this area. And I maintain that as long as I'm telling the truth on verified stories, that I got to give a lot of credit to Deanne. She does a lot of work behind the scenes, helping me with the paperwork and getting the paperwork to make sure the stories we put out on this program are 100% factual. And we made a commitment that we're going to stay on the air for at least another year and try to promote and do the best of news and the stories of the news in a fashion that is honest and forthright. And if somebody's toes are stepped on, that's their problem, not mine.
You know, I I just don't look forward to the day that we don't have Monday through Thursday with Zev at the ranch. That would be... It'll ruin my day.
Well, your kindness is very, very flattering, and I appreciate that. But, we all get older. We all want to spend more time doing more or less personal things for ourselves. But I'll tell you this much, I'm not going away anytime soon. I promise you that. And much to the chagrin of the people that don't like me. So I promise I'm going to try to be there in the morning when you turn the knob on. Thank you very much.
There's just one other thing there, Zeb, is that we talked to Helen Bradley yesterday because we wanted to take her to lunch bunch.
Yes.
But she has been in the hospital with pneumonia.
Oh, no.
She's home now and recovering.
Well, I am so glad you told me that, but I know both Deanne and I know Deanne's out in the other room doing paperwork. Deanne, we will get a card to Helen right away, and please, you and Nancy extend our very best to Helen. She is a wonderful lady. I just love her. I mean, she's just a lady that I absolutely love being around, even though she shot me in the face a couple times with a squirt gun.
She's a backstabber.
Okay. Thanks, Keith. God bless you. See you later, buddy. Thanks so much. All right. All right.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you. Helen, get better, please. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Call Dale and Paul at 438-8886. Alan in Twin Falls, 731-2495. And Russ in Burley at 431-7175. And they're looking for retired folks, too, that want to drive 2 or 3 days a week. Full and part-time positions are available. You're home every night, vacation schedules, benefit programs. You better call them today. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. On a personal note, I want to just say this, and I'm pretty open and honest about this. I took criticism. I'll give you a story yesterday. A caller came in on my cell phone during the 9 o'clock news yesterday, and I had just a few moments, and he says, how dare you think, this gentleman said, how dare you think that O'Reilly is going to leave Fox News or Fox News would let O'Reilly go? And I said, why do you say that? And this gentleman said, well, you have to be an idiot. And boy, he really offended me at that juncture. He said, you have to be an idiot to think that O'Reilly would leave a very lucrative situation or that the Murdochs would let him go. Well, I told him, sir, you have a right to your opinion, but you're wrong. And I said before Friday this week, and I mentioned this yesterday on the air, O'Reilly would be off of Fox News. And he said, you're way out in left field. Well, I haven't heard from that man yet this morning. I wonder if he's going to call and say, oops. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget, too, Minnecasia Sales. What a nice man. And the nice people over at Minnecasia Sales. Zach, I'm telling you, you got to go a long way, and I don't think you'll find anybody friendlier and more ready to help. Zach at Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main in Burley. And they sponsor Dr. History every Tuesday at 10:06. Oh, they've got all the luxury. This is good-looking stuff, man. I wish I had it in my house. Luxury vinyl planking, and they got great carpet deals, and they've got the very best of doors, interior doors. Now, that I do have from them. Wonderful door, and they'll help send over the contractors to do the installation work. They're good. Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, 878-2091, and they bring you Dr. History. Okay, enough. Ann Coulter, I want to talk to you about this. We are seeing a major problem grow like a cancer all across this United States at major colleges and universities and not so major colleges and universities, where the left is in control. The left is in dominance. The left is acting like Gestapo agents. And they are censoring, stopping, and basically creating tumult when it comes to allowing anybody with a conservative voice to be on their campus. Now, case in point, Berkeley, USC. Ann Coulter, and God bless Ann, she really is, I admire her. She absolutely will not back down from anyone or any circumstance. That I admire in her. Ann Coulter was scheduled to speak next week on Thursday, April 27th, in the evening at Berkeley. But then the powers that be at Berkeley, and these are words that she used yesterday on television, they started saying, well, we're going to have to change venues. Well, then we're going to have to change locations. Well, then we're going to have to change the time of day that you speak. Well, we're going to have to move you here. And then finally, the people at Berkeley came out and said, Ann, you're canceled. We're not going to allow you on campus. And then they started blaming her for the possible inciting of riots and danger and thuggery. She hadn't done anything. All she wanted to do is get out there and speak the conservative voice, much of which, almost all of which, I agree with. I've read her books. I know her. I know what she's going to speak about. But they canceled her. But you know what? This is what I admire about her, and I would do this myself. She's going to go anyway. It's a public campus that receives public funding. And she is going to go on the campus of Berkeley, and she said she's going to find some place to go speak and deliver her speech. And she said if they, the people of Berkeley that are in the hierarchy, want to arrest her, go ahead. That's the attitude that we, the right, have got to have. We are being walked on. We are being spit on. We are being hit upon. We are absolutely being pushed down to a lower level by the left, and it's got to stop. And it's time not to turn the other cheek. It's time to say, get out of the way, Jack. And that's exactly what she is going to do. She had a speaking contract. I worked on all my life for the last 47 years on speaking contracts. They are binding, and they were my livelihood and my income. I was not about to have somebody on a whim call me and say, well, we've changed our mind. No. They are going to pay me if they pull that. And she's going to go out there and speak, and God bless her. I've made a notation in my day planner to really watch and see, listen, and learn what happens next week on Thursday at Berkeley with Ann Coulter. I support her. And I'm going to try to get a hold of her later on today, as a matter of fact, after lunch bunch, and get to her office and let her know that we absolutely appreciate her not backing down. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. Oh, this is something very important. I received this in the mail from the lovely doctor, and that's Dr. Christine Pickup at Mount Harrison. Doggone. About choked to death there. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And they're going to have, now listen carefully to this, they're going to have an educational brain, hearing, and technology seminar. This is going to be next Thursday, the 27th at 12 noon at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn. And Dr. Christine Pickup is going to be there. Seating is going to be limited, so please RSVP. You must make a reservation in order to attend, and lunch will be provided. This is a very important hearing seminar. Don't miss it next week on Thursday at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce with Mount Harrison Audiology and Dr. Christine Pickup. Okay? Got you covered. Hey, by the way, every Monday we have a kind of a fun deal at 8:31. I ask a little trivia question, and then you, of course, can win a dozen cookies from Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. And, right here on this paper, it says, Zeb, please tell everyone that at Sophie's Chatterbox they now have maple scones. It's great. I'm advertising that they've got maple scones, but did anybody send me one? Did anyone bring me one? I mean, come on. You're tantalizing me. Sophie's Chatterbox, great bakery, fantastic bakery, and excellent restaurant, 530 East Street in Rupert. You stop in and see them today. Oh, that sounds good. Right now, a maple scone with either a little hot coffee or tea. That sounds delicious. How about a call? 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Yesterday, and I'm not going to give up on this until they change their ways. Yesterday, I criticized, and there was a call yesterday afternoon, and the guy said, I agree with you. He said, I, too, am a baseball fan. I, too, like to follow. He's a fan of the Dodgers. I'm a fan of the Cubs. And he said, I'm a fan of the Dodgers, and I get up in the morning and I read the Times News, hoping that there will be the baseball results. There will be the baseball standings, and there will be Major League Baseball's upcoming games in the Times. And the last couple of days, the Times newspaper has found itself cutting back on what is now, I would call, the worst sports section of any newspaper in the state of Idaho. I will stand behind that statement. Look at it yourself. This morning, good example. Go take a picture or take a look at the Times News and see how absolutely shortchanged people that enjoy sports are when they read the Times News. There is nothing in there about Major League Baseball. Nothing. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again. Is it just you and I
guess. Go ahead. Pull your Colt 45 out of your holster and shoot your best shot. What do you got cooking?
Well, I want to talk about appointments. When you talking about Ann Coulter, it made me think of something. After being in business for 38 years, somebody makes an appointment with you, and you arrange your schedule around that.
Yep.
Just like you did, you had to do when you were rodeoing. You had to do it maybe as much as a year in advance.
That's
right?
exactly correct. Exactly correct.
And you had to set aside that time. And, so many people will make an appointment, and then they just simply don't show up. They don't call and cancel it.
Yep.
They just don't show up. And if you're in a business like mine, then they feel bad about it. And you probably don't ever get their business again because of what they did.
I made in a lot of cases, Keith, 3 and 4 year long-term contracts. And I knew the dates. We would go over the upcoming calendar, the next year's calendar. We would review the dates on the contract. And you know what? Only one time in my entire career did I have a problem with a change of dates and a committee that wasn't ready to honor their contract. One time, so I was very blessed. But in the case of when you, like Ann Coulter, make a speaking engagement contract to speak at Berkeley, I mean, here's one of the largest universities in the United States, you would think that they would honor their commitment.
Well, it's because these people have never been in that position where they had to make an appointment and keep it.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to back out of a deal, but it's just not right.
Amen.
I just don't understand why these people danced around the idea of her speaking there, and then finally, after she can't have any more time to rearrange, they just finally say, no, I don't think we're going to need you.
Well, wait a minute, Keith. You can understand it. You're a very bright individual. You know what the bottom line is. She's a conservative. It doesn't fall into the vein of the sick left thinking, and they don't want conservative chatter or talk on their campus. They don't want conservative values or ideas expressed. They don't want someone like Ann Coulter to stand up at a podium and say, hey, this is the way it is. This is the way this country was formed. This is what our Constitution means. They're scared of her.
Yes, they are, and because she tells it the way it is, and I admire her. She's a very stately lady, I think.
Okay,
and
I agree.
I've never read her books because I'm not a reader, but she's the real, genuine article.
I appreciate that. Keith, thank you so much for calling back. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Hey, calls are welcome. 436 out of bed. Come on, pick up the phone and dial 436-2244-1-866-927-4587. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. By the way, I know someone else that's looking forward to hearing from you. They really like to show you around, especially if you have a loved one that needs that assisted care. That's the Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Number to call, 436-3200. That number, again, 436-3200. And, you know, they really urge the public to visit their facility anytime for tours and check them out, and they make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place. Once again, they're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Please get a hold of them today. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. And don't forget our old friend, Scott Gano. My goodness, Scotty, how you doing? Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Right now they are busy. Right now people want sprinklers put in. Right now sprinkler service and repair. Right now they want their trees trimmed. They want their fruit trees trimmed. Right now they want landscaping. Wow, you better get on the list and give them a call, 438-2485. Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, they are the best. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning as I choke. Woo.
I didn't know you reacted like that.
Well, you know, Doug, I have hay fever, and in the spring, when everything starts budding out, I have a little bit of a throat problem, and I'm like many, many millions, so I apologize.
Well, you're forgiven. I have the same thing when the trees are doing it. I'm just about over mine. So.
Okay, now go ahead.
What you're talking about with Berkeley and how they're wanting to suppress speech, just do a little thinking back in history, what Hitler did with all the books.
Yep.
And what that little fat doughboy down there in North Korea is doing.
Yeah.
Not allowing any outside information to get in.
Absolutely.
So what the left is trying to do, and I'm no rocket scientist, but I've been around the block at least twice, what they're trying to do is to suppress the other views that contradict them.
Yeah.
They're trying to silence the conservative people so that the left can keep spewing their BS out there. Took me a second there. I had to... But
you have no idea, Doug, how scared I was for a moment.
Well, I'm related to my mother. So.
May I digress for a moment? God bless your mother, because I will never forget in all of my career in broadcasting, and by the way, caller number 2, don't go away, I'll be right there. In all of my career in broadcasting, which spans way back to 1969, was I ever at a loss for words or looking for a table to crawl under, as I was that day in the Rupert City gazebo in the city park when your mother cracked a joke on the air and I wanted to just run.
I remember it, and she's told me about it, and I laugh every time I think about it.
So do I. Anyway, quickly, go ahead.
But That's what they're doing. They're trying to suppress speech.
Yeah.
And how to take over a country is keep people from speaking their mind.
May I suggest a little homework project for you quickly this morning? Go get a copy of the Times News this morning and go to the op-ed page and read this loon. His name is Dean Ferguson, the former communications director for the Idaho Democratic Party. I can understand why he's former. Read that and try to call me a little bit later on this morning. I think you're going to go, holy cow, it's no wonder this guy is no longer the head of the party. Believe me, read it.
Okay. Hey, and just one quick deal. We need to take care of our seniors, take care of the senior centers, and I want to put a shout-out to Ida Gold Dairy. They're going to be donating some beef for the Rupert Senior Centers.
Absolutely. Doug, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, real quick, caller, I'm coming. Don't forget, spring is in the air. The birds are singing and making their nests, and the flowers are blooming. And by golly, now's the time to go into Ramsey Heating and Electric or give them a call and talk to them about the possibility of up to a $1,700 rebate on qualifying new Lennox home comfort systems at Ramsey Heating and Electric. 678-0459. You call them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Deb.
Hi.
It's been fun. I hear everything you're saying on my phone. Anyway, I have to say that when I was a college kid, vulnerable, and this is how they do it. You go to college and you have these professors, and you're forced to go to some classes. There are things that you have to have in your classes before you can graduate, because they so-called want you to be balanced.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a little older than you, but I suspect you may have had that same experience.
Oh, absolutely.
When you start to realize that they were lying to you, it's about 4 years after you get out of college, because then you've experienced the real world and all of these, pie-in-the-sky ideas that you had. You can't live like that.
Wait a minute, though, Chris.
In California, you're surrounded by all those people.
Yeah, Chris, can I interrupt you there for a minute and say this? I got to say that I had a professor in college. His name was Mr. Hugh Phillips. And he looked at the class the first day, and I never forgot this. And he said, the reason you're going to school is because you want to be smarter and you want to make yourself better for the rest of your life. If you're not smart enough to make your own opinion of what's going on around you, please pick up your books and leave my class right now.
Well, that was the exception to college professors.
It might have been. But you know what? Everybody in that classroom, myself especially, I was taken aback by that statement, but also I was extremely proud to be in that man's class because I knew he was going to give you a fair shot, he was going to listen to you, and that's what's lacking in education today.
Mm-hmm. Well, and of course I think a lot of it depends upon what direction you're aiming at. And I was going into home economics and hoping to, work like in the county thing. But anyway, and you and I probably were going to college at about the same time.
Yep.
Because that was still not so liberal. That, wow, I think my lucky stars that our oldest son, who went to the University of Idaho, he got in with a group of renegade kids, and they just simply didn't agree with all of the things that their professors told them, and they caused a little mayhem.
But you see, this is an exchanging of ideas on a college campus. But today, unfortunately, whether it's Berkeley, whether it's UCLA, whether it's Rutgers, it doesn't make any difference to the college campus. All they want, they being the so-called powers that be, is a unified liberal ideology and everybody else be damned.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that they feel like that they have been given the keys to the kingdom, and since they are so much smarter than the rest of us, they can turn the little wheels in these little brains, and by the time they let them out into the public, they've got another indoctrinated. I mean, you know, communist Russia didn't have to even hold you behind the classroom still. It was everywhere. But in the United States, they allowed the universities to do this.
You know, education, and I certainly, I want to say this, and I think you'll understand where I'm coming from. We run a segment on Cassia County School Days at 10:10 on Thursdays, and I have the utmost respect for Debbie Critchfield and Cassia County School Boards and other areas, other school boards around this area. I know that they're trying to do the right thing. But when it gets to the higher level, the colleges and universities, I really hold a lot of them in contempt. My old alma mater, as a matter of fact, the University of Wisconsin. They have turned into bastions of not free speech, but either you go along or you won't get along. That's what I have against education. It is not open-minded education anymore.
No, it's actually uneducating because they're indoctrinating.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's always good to hear from you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, God bless.
I'm in and out now. My husband's doing custom work around the Magic Valley, and I get to be the flag person sometimes and that sort of thing.
You know what? Call me after the radio program. I need to visit with you.
Oh, okay.
All right, thanks. All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Let's see. What time is... Oh, my goodness sake, Zeb, what's the matter with you? You got to get a weather forecast here. And the weather is brought to us this hour by Riverview Urgent Care at 382 North Overland in Burley. And Twin Falls Urgent Care at 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin. And Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Open 7 days a week. No memberships required. Everybody's welcome. And don't forget to minor emergencies, major care. They can and will see you today. Here's the weather with Gina.
Rainy and windy is a typical spring mantra here in southern Idaho, and that's what we are going to expect for today. Here is your weather forecast. Winds out of the southwest, right around 24 miles an hour. We are expecting rain showers, about a 70% chance, off and on throughout the day, but mostly in the morning hours. High of 51, overnight low of 34. Tomorrow, winds are going to be dying down to about 13 miles an hour out of the west. Mostly sunny skies, high of 56 with an overnight low of 33. For the weekend, Saturday is going to be fairly nice. Partly cloudy skies, high of 65 with an overnight low of 44. Winds picking up again for Sunday. Afternoon rain showers are possible, about a 30% chance with a high of 62. And then as we kick off the work week on Monday, cloudy skies and 56. That is your weather for 7th Array.
Gina, great job. Maybe, just maybe the weather might be a little better this weekend, I hope. Brought to you this hour by the Riverview Urgent Care Center in Burley. 382 North Overland in Burley, and Twin Falls Urgent Care on Addison and Twin, and Jerome Urgent Care on West Avenue A in Jerome. Minor emergencies, major care. You know, here's a story that kind of warms my heart. A 75-year-old vet, not too much older than me. Last Memorial Day, he went to the gates of the Los Angeles VA, and he put two small flags. I've got a couple of the flags, the size of the flags here in my office that he put up. I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got 12 American flags in my office. Honestly, I do. And he put two small American flags on both the left and the right gate, entrance gate, to the Los Angeles VA on Memorial Day. And he got arrested. He got arrested for putting American flags on the VA gates for Memorial Day weekend. Well, they were going to get him for all kinds of charges. But you know what? This 75-year-old vet, and I saw him on TV, and he's feisty, which I love. And he's really good shape. I mean, he looks like he's a Marine that could absolutely get up, put the uniform on, and just take care of everything. But he said, no, go ahead and arrest me. Go ahead and do anything you want, because I'm going to fight you all the way to the federal court. And he did, and they did, and he won. And this morning, it was really heartwarming for me because the commentator said to him, after all the problems that you've been through and all the mess that this caused, would you do it again? And he said yes in 5 minutes. God bless him! That's the attitude. Never take a back seat to these liberal loons. You got to fight them. You will win if you persevere. And he said he'd do it again in 5 minutes. We all should be that way. All of us. Let's see, what else have I got here? This is kind of interesting. Over 100 people. And I'm not making this up number-wise. This is the number that was given by the authors of the book, co-authors, a male and a female. They wrote a book called Shattered. And the book is all about the Hillary Clinton campaign that went bust for the presidency. Well, they interviewed over 100 people to get sworn statements about did this happen and what happened over here and what were the circumstances over here. And they don't like Hillary at all. Well, what's going on now? The Clintons and the Clinton power machine, they're trying to find out each and every one of these people's names. And the only reason they want to know is for possible retribution. Be careful out there. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
I just got a flash from Berkeley, California, and it says that encoder is vowed to speak regardless at their campus.
Is what?
And their answer was, if you come, we cannot guarantee your safety.
Yeah, no.
That isn't a... I don't know.
That is absolutely pathetic because I will guarantee you, I will bet you any check of any size that still I have money left in my account, that if it were a liberal leftist, let's say, just for instance, it was somebody of the Obama former campaign and former administration or Obama himself, they would have security around that place to where it would look like Fort Knox. But for a conservative, you're on your own, dude.
Well, that's a slap in the face for the security of Berkeley because, you know, if they're not going to protect somebody like that, what good are they?
Absolutely. What good are they? There you go. Sums it up. What good are they? 4 words. Keith, thank you. God bless you, man. Thanks much. Got to run.
Good lunch, bye.
All right, thank you. 11:30 today. Man, I forgot what time I had to be there. Don't forget the big spring tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Oh, they do the right thing because it matters. And they've got the right tires because it matters for your driving safety. That's right. You go in there for your car, your pickup, your SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever you need tires for. And they've got every single kind of tire for your kind of driving and all the different tread designs, everything. They know tires better than anyone else. Stop in there today. And also the best in brake service, the best in front end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries, and above all service. Man, do they take care of you. You better believe it. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I really appreciate them. They've been with me for, 9, 10, 11 years? God bless every one of them. Super nice people. Let's see what else have we got here. Excuse me, Chamber report at 9:06 this morning. And then Rita Ramsey at 9:30, and all kinds of good things coming up. Want to remind you again quickly, we are going to be at Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, 611 North Overland in Burley at 11:30. Thanks again to our sponsors for the gift certificates giveaway, Smith's Food, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes, Doug Martin. Thank you, along with Denny's. And we're going to have a special birthday celebration for Russell Smith. And bring your cards and letters, and we'll send everything up to him. We're going to have a big cake, and we're going to have a videographer there shooting the video and the sound, John Ellis, my good buddy. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see you there at Denny's at 11:30 today. Right now, we're going to, my goodness, another cloudy day, another rainy day, another windy day. Please stop with this, and let's turn the sun loose. We're going to take a little break and go to the news from CBS, and I'll be back in about 7 minutes. Have a wonderful Thursday. Oh, good morning. I'm hoping you're having a good day. Look out, weather's not going to be real shiny. It is going to be shiny if you like to have a lot of rain and wind and chase your hat and everything else. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a big spring tire sale going on right now. And also some great advertisers like Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Way Services.
You know what? I brag about them every day. Every day on this program, whether it's for the garbage pickup on the route service, or whether it's getting those great big containers, you know, the different sizes to put there, and put your trash in the dumpsters, you know, clean out the basement, clean out my office. Oh boy, that's a chore. Or get the porta potties for your party, potties for your party. Well, all of this and so much more. They're loyal to the community and the people that they serve. Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call them today at 734-6969. And don't forget, on Mondays, we have a program at 9:15 on my program called Gardening for Idiots. Yeah, it's named after me. Not a very good gardener, but I'm learning because of Miss Vicky over at Vicky's Country Gardens, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. And she's been in celebrating business in 20 years, serving you with all the seeds and the plants and the decorative bark and rock, everything at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. And real quick, before we go to our chamber report, I know Kyla is sitting there going, hurry up, Zeb, hurry up, Zeb, hurry up, Zeb. I want to remind everybody about Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. The number to call, 436-3200. It is the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area, and they really would like you to come on in and check them out. Go on a tour, check them out, and they provide more of the one-on-one care. They make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place. They're smaller compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Well, hello, Kyla at the Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Zeb, and I would never rush you. How are you doing this morning?
Not too bad. Now, be honest with me. What was the net result? Good, bad, indifferent of the Southern Idaho Women's Expo? Were you real happy with it?
Oh, I'm extremely happy with it. I think we just had a lot of compliments from people with the speakers. I think the vendors really got on board with the theme, "Oh, the Places You'll Go," which is from Dr. Seuss, of course. And so people had a lot of fun. We were really pleased with the attendance, and we just want to thank you and the community for supporting the event. We had a great turnout, and we had a lot of comments that were positive. So that's awesome. We're going to take those for next year and get ready for 2018.
Okay, but now I know you must be a little tired and a little haggard from all the time and effort put into that, but you can't rest. You got to stay going. What else is coming up?
Well, you know, we have our Minicaja Scramble for Commerce. That will be coming up June 21st. That is for chamber members who would like to play a little golf and do a little networking, and that's going to be, again, June 21st. We're going to take it over to the Rupert Country Club this year, so that's going to be a fun switch. We represent both counties, so we want to golf in both places, and we do have a couple of spots left, but they're about gone. So we're getting ready for that one. And then summer, of course, is our busy season at the Visitor Center. So we are in the middle of changing over the inventory to get ready for some brand new stuff that's going to be there. And one of the big events that is happening this summer, don't ask me the date because I got to go look it up again, but the eclipse will be happening. And so one of the products we'll be having is eclipse glasses for folks so that you can safely view the eclipse. So I'm pretty excited about what summer's got on its horizon.
What are the dates of the eclipse?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I don't have it right in front of me.
You know what? I read that.
Next week I will have that right in front of me when we're talking, okay?
No, I tell you what, I read about that in the paper, and I'll be a son of a gun if I can remember it either. So don't be embarrassed. I can't remember it either.
I know. I'm thinking it's July or August, and I apologize to all your listeners. I promise I'll have that date. But a lot of folks are gearing up for it. So the Magic Valley area has been named one of the top 5 viewing areas to see this thing. Isn't that phenomenal? So if hopefully the weather holds and you can get to a nice clear spot and get away from some of the, you know, you're going to see it no matter what. So it's really going to be great. I think it's, I don't know, I'm excited. Just stuff like this, you know, it's kind of fun to check out and take a moment and enjoy what the universe has to offer.
You know, let me ask you this. A lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people around the area, and they say, well, Zeb, we heard the Chamber of Commerce on your program, and I've heard people remark, what does the Chamber of Commerce do on a daily basis?
We do all sorts of things. Every day is different here. So we do have a visitor center. So every day we have folks coming in from really all over the world who are asking questions where to go in the area. They're looking for some location. A lot of folks this time of year are coming in and traveling through. They're the snowbirds that are returning. So that's kind of fun to chat with them and all their adventures. And then we also do a lot with our different partners in the area. So we do promote business. We have hundreds of members who are here because they want to join together and solve different issues in terms of business and economic development in our community. So we definitely support the folks that are doing economic development in our big communities and small communities here. And then obviously we promote tourism. That's a huge industry that is here in our neck of the woods. So we do a little bit of everything. Sometimes we help a business will come in and they'll say, I just need to know how to use social media. Because as you know, that is really how people are purchasing and finding things these days is through social media. And so you might have a 4th-generation business owner who's never, you know, done anything on social media, so we'll sit down and consult with them. Other folks are simply needing help with search engine optimization, which is, you know, is you pick up the phone and that's how you pretty much search for everything you want to buy or where you want to go these days. So if they can't find you online, that is not a good thing for a business these days. So, and other times people come in and they're like, I need help with my employees getting customer service, you know, tips and advice. And other times people come in and they ask me to go by their business when the boss isn't there and they don't know who I am. And we just let them know what we think. Later we tell the boss. So it's everything and anything is really, we're here to serve these businesses and these organizations that are members and serve our community.
You know something, Kyla? I got just a minute, and I want you to elaborate on this a little bit. I'm going to take some extra time out of another segment, and I'm going to talk to you about this. Maybe you don't agree with me, and if you don't, feel free to arbitrate. But I think, in my opinion, as much as I travel, as much as I get around and I talk to various businesses, go into various businesses, and I'm not trying to denigrate anybody, but customer service, I think, is something that all businesses really need to evaluate to make sure their employees aren't chasing business out the door. How would you respond to that?
I would say it's something that we get complacent on, absolutely. And it's something that we really need to emphasize with employees. And it's hard, Zeb. You know how it is. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You hit a pothole on the way into work. You know, you have a flat tire. How do we give people the tools to say, the minute you walk into work today, we got to leave the personal stuff on the doorstep, and we have to serve people? It's tough. It is very difficult at times, but that's what being a professional business is. And I guess I just want to say there are a lot of folks out there who are doing a really good job with customer service and really trying hard, and you cannot please everyone. We all know that.
Right.
But at times, I don't like going into a business and hearing, well, there's nothing to do here. And I just want to educate their employees on, actually, there's quite a bit to do here, but you kind of got to educate everybody on what there is to do, things that you can go do, where to find that information. We have so many new people now moving into our community that, again, word of mouth isn't going to be the only way they find your business.
I agree.
They haven't got that word of mouth experience yet. They're going to look online. They're going to see who answers the phone, how they treated them on the phone, did they give them accurate directions, and then it goes from there.
I agree. We have a caller with a quick question. Fast caller. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes. Hi, Kyla. I'd just like to know about the banquet for the farmers and the businessmen of the year. Are you going to have it this year?
We have been looking at that for November. We've been talking with the board of directors, and so my hope is that shortly here, since we just got done with the Women's Expo, we'll be able to kind of start to form that committee and take a look at that event and see what if it's going to be called that again or what exactly we're going to do with it. Because it's about, 7 months out, I want to say, which seems like a long time, but it's really not. So that is definitely something that's on our radar.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. Kyla, I am way over on time. Okay, I'm way over. We got 3 people talking over each other here. I appreciate the call. I'm way late on time, but Kyla, tell everybody how they can get a hold of the chamber and what the hours are.
Sure, we are open from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Weekends, we're going to be open with our volunteers. Probably we're firing that up after Memorial Day, just to let everybody know that. And then you can get a hold of us, 679-4793. And we're located right here in Hayburn, 1177 7th Street.
You know what we ought to do sometime on the program, and like I said, I'm way over time right now, but we ought to schedule some extra time and talk about business, courteous, professional customer service. We ought to talk about that.
I'd love to. Yeah, let's absolutely do that, Zeb. I think that would be fun because, our community is as good as us as we are representing it. So I would love to chat about that.
All right. God bless you, and thank you for being on the program this morning.
Thanks, Ed. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. Kyla over at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, and she really, really is doing, along with the rest of the staff, a great job serving this area. Oh, my goodness, I've got to pay some bills. Oh, let's talk about puppy dogs for a minute. This is a very serious ad, and I want to remind you that our friends at Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Hayburn, the number to call, write this down, 678-1177. They urge you to be very, very cognizant of how dangerous and deadly the parvovirus is for dogs and puppies. And believe me, it can kill. So make sure, I urge all the owners of dogs and puppies to get your dogs in to be vaccinated for that parvovirus. It is a potentially fatal virus, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So please contact Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Hayburn, 678-1177. They do have warm hearts for cold noses. Really good people. You know, somebody else that really is nice, I mean, very, very nice and courteous to the people that they serve, and that's, of course, Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff, and nice. I mean, that word sums it up. Very nice and friendly people. And they can travel to the rural towns and churches to serve you and your family and help you with all the arrangements when there's the passing of a loved one. And always remember this: they will uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity in serving you. Please call their number at 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Oh, my goodness sakes, in just a little bit, we're going to have Rita Ramsey on the phone with us. And I mentioned earlier this morning, as the papers scatter all over my desk, about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox and the home comfort systems. Don't forget, they've got the very best of home comfort systems, and they are offering up to a $1,700 rebate on qualified new Lennox home comfort systems that can keep your home feeling perfect inside. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459. Another reminder about what's going to take place at 11:30 this morning. We're going to be over at Denny's Restaurant, and that's America's Diner, and we're going to have something really special today. And I get a little teary-eyed thinking about this, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Russell Smith is going to have his 92nd birthday the first week of May. And so we thought that we would do a birthday party before the fact for Russell. And I absolutely love this man. He's been on my program many, many times. He's a dear friend to this program and the Lunch Bunch. And he is a 3 times Purple Heart recipient for this great United States of America, fighting for us. And he's in the Veterans Home in Pocatello, up at the Idaho State Veterans Home. And I received word yesterday that Russell is not doing well. He's not doing well. He has pneumonia, and I talked to some people that said it's kind of a rough hill to climb right now for Russell. And I'm urging you to come to Lunch Bunch at 11:30 today. What we're going to do is have a great big birthday cake, and we're going to have our official candle blower outer, and that's going to be George Faulkner in honor of Russell Smith. And we're going to have a special tribute to him. The vets are going to be there. I just want you to be there. We're going to have it all on videotape. Everything. And all the sounds, all the well wishes and everything, and be a part of it. And we're going to send that up to Russell and wish him the very, very best. A really true American hero, Russell Smith. And we're going to honor him today at Lunch Bunch at Denny's at 11:30. And our thanks also to Smith's Food, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes, Doug Martin, and so many more. Thank you. Looking forward to it. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, it's time to get out and enjoy the great hills and the trails and everything on a four-wheeler or a side-by-side. My goodness sakes, stop over to Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. And they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. Oh, my, you better go over and check out that showroom. Wow. It is cram full of fun. Stop over and check out all the accessories and the great service department, everything at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. And let's see, what else have I got here real quick. Oh, and while you're over in that area, you might want to make an appointment to see our dear friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. They, Cameron and Siemens, are dedicated to serving your need. and they want to make sure that you are protected. So get a hold of them today, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Early this morning, I mentioned a op-ed piece that was in the Times News this morning, and here was the headline. And it was written by a former, I can understand why, former communications director for the Idaho Democratic Party. His name is Dean Ferguson. I do not know this man. I would love to meet him. Oh, boy, would I love to meet him. And the title was Laughing Elk and the GOP's Creative Word for Smart. Now, all through this article, as I was reading it, I thought, really? Do you feel, along with your party, that you are that elite and that you are that much smarter than the rest of us? I'll give you a sample of what really teed me off. Here's a quote from his op-ed. Despite smart, ambitious efforts of fellow Idaho Democrats in 2016, Idaho and America elected Republicans. Ooh. I mean, ooh. Listen to that. I got to read that again because you can just see the elite, the word elite, and snobbiness come oozing out of the sentence. Despite smart, ambitious efforts of fellow Idaho Democrats in 2016, Idaho and America elected Republicans. Oh, doesn't that make you just want to stand up and say, ring the bell, start the fight? You know, Mr. Ferguson, I don't live or die on what happens on this program. I've got other outside interests, but I will tell you this. The Democrats have been failing and falling over the cliff because of their lies and their cheap innuendos and cheap shots. And the other day, and the reason I bring this up, is the other day I was listening to a tape of Maxine Waters, Democrat from California. Let's get on there and say, impeach Trump. I'm going to do all I can to impeach Donald Trump. I'm going to do all I can to impeach 45. Impeach 45. And she ranted and raved. And then when she was asked on the other day on a newscast, she said, well, I've never called for his impeachment. How dare someone like Mr. Ferguson and other Democrats make the insinuation that they are the elite party? They are the only honest people. They are the ones that do not twist the facts. As a matter of fact, there was another comment in his op-ed. But one factor consistently contributes to bad outcomes. Republican leaders have diminished the power of facts. You know, I wished he would come on my program. I wished any Democrat that's in leadership would come on my program. They've been invited, but they haven't got the spine. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, I know somebody that wants to hire you. You looking for a job? Are you looking for a job? Well, Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Yep, they're looking for full and part-time positions. Retired folks are welcome. They'll work around your schedule 2 or 3 days a week, whatever works best for you. You're home every night. They've got new and maintained equipment, great vacation schedules, and benefit programs. Whoa! You better call Dale and Paul at 438-8886. Alan in Twin Falls at 731-2495. And Russ in Burley at 431-7175. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Okay, let's see what else have I got cooking here real quick. Oh, I got to remind you of this real fast before we go to Rita. Next Monday on April 24th at 7 p.m., there will be a town hall meeting at the historic Wilson Theater to discuss a proposal for a $3.96 million general $1 million general obligation bond to fund much-needed repairs and improvements to the Rupert City infrastructure, streets, stormwater, sewer and water programs, etc. Don't miss that meeting next Monday night at 7 p.m. at the historic Wilson Theater. Right now, I'm going to go to the phone line and say a good morning to a very lovely lady that I enjoy having on my program every single week, and that's, of course, Rita Ramsey. Good morning.
Give me one moment, sir.
I won't. No, go ahead quickly. She's going to be calling in, and we're looking forward to it. I was a tad early getting her on the air this morning, so I'll take the blame for that. Is she there now?
Yes, sir, she is.
All right. I'll try that again. Good morning, Rita. Sorry, I came to you a little bit early this morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm real good, thanks.
Rita, did you have a chance to glance or read that article in the paper this morning by a former communications director for the Idaho Democratic Party, Dean Ferguson?
Actually, I didn't look at that this morning.
Well, you know, it was just oozing with, we're smarter than you. You made a terrible mistake and are continuing to make bad mistakes for America. We are waiting in the wings to be the life preserver. We don't tell lies. We are perfect. We are the Democrats. And it just kind of wrinkled my fur a little bit.
Well, there's something that speaks louder than that, and that's the facts. The facts are that there's been over 1,000 Democrat seats, the various different states, and whether it's mayoral or senator or Congress or even down to locals that have been lost from Democrats to Republicans in the last 10 years. And the reason is because people are tired of the way that the Democrats have been doing things. The thing with the Democrats is, and I have to hand it to them because they're pretty smart on this edge, is that they will gather together and get a number of voices, and it's probably just a small number of voices, but they know that's all they need to get together, and they'll make news because the news media will pay attention to them. The regular ones, they always are quoted in the newspapers and that type of thing. Well, Republicans and or conservatives are busy working, but the other thing is conservatives, I was thinking about this yesterday, most conservatives, if you try to get them to gather together so that they can make their voice heard, you just don't get them to do it. Yeah. And believe me, I know, because I've tried for the last 7 years to get people to come together and help us make a statement through the Tea Party.
Yep.
And while we still have, a few that will gather together, you've got all kinds of people out there that say, yeah, we believe the same thing, but everybody wants to kind of do their own thing, and everybody thinks, well, my voice will be heard, and maybe I'll contact my leadership, and maybe I won't. But they don't gather together to make their voice heard because they're pretty independent, and that's what conservatism is that you're independent. Democrats and all of their constituents, most of their followers, are dependent on something, whether it's the Democrat Party, whether it's the government freebies, the giveaways, all that type of stuff. I think Democrats are a form of dependency, and so when they gather together, even though it's small numbers, they're heard, and the conservatives aren't because they don't gather together to make their voice heard.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard me a few moments ago, but one of the sentences that stood out to me and just made my hair on the back of my neck stand out, because I've got a short German temper, is this very elitist snob, Mr. Ferguson, said, quote, despite smart, ambitious efforts of fellow Idaho Democrats in 2016, Idaho and America elected Republicans.
Yeah, it all kind of comes down to, do you want somebody that's going to spin you out of the country, or do you want somebody that will try to do something that's less fiscal?
Yeah.
Huge,
Let me ask you this, though, Rita, and you know more about this than most people because you're a news junkie like I am. But every day it's getting worse. The hate and the animosity and the inability of the left, especially the Democratic Party, to accept reality and say, hey, listen, Trump won the election fair and square. The Republicans are in charge. We better get our act together. We better see how we can better serve America. We better look at the Americans and our constituents and what they want, need, and have to have done and get it done. They're not doing that.
Well, they're in denial, and they like I said, they have a pretty good microphone that they can speak to, your left-wing news medias, which is the majority, and so they can get their voice heard. The thing of it is that you can gather several of those people together, and we all have one vote, and when we vote, the majority of us over the last several years have said we don't want this type of government anymore. And so for them to be in denial about it is just crazy, but they are, and they're going to make as much noise and scream as loud as they can and do everything. And one of those things, and I was going to talk about it for just a second this morning, was you probably saw the deal about the New England Patriots visiting, the Trump White House.
Right.
How the New York Times made this big splash about there weren't near as many of the Patriots. They skipped going because they didn't want to be, associated with Trump, and they don't like him, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, the Patriots gathered together, and the majority of them were there. It's just that in 2015, all of them were standing on the steps when the picture was taken.
Yep.
The majority of them were in the front rows on the seats, which wasn't included in the picture. So the New York Times said, oh, yeah, there was a lot more when they were there with Obama in 2015. Well, they weren't, and they got called out. But you never heard that kind of stuff. They'll have a retraction on page 82 in a little 2-inch by 1-inch thing in the place where nobody will see it and say, oh, sorry, we were wrong.
Yeah, you're 100% right on that story, and it even goes a little further than that. They were there en masse in numbers as President Trump honored the Super Bowl champions. But there was something else that happened that, quite frankly, Sean Spicer and his staff, they dropped the ball on. It could have been a huge media success story. And Spicer's standing up at the podium, and the door opens up over to his back right. And in walks tight end Gronkowski, a great big bulk of a man, and he says, do you need any help with anything? And it took Spicer aback, and he kind of laughed, and he says, oh, no, I'm doing fine. Well, you know what? He should have invited Gronkowski up to the podium. It would have made levity out of the whole situation, and Gronkowski could have taken some of the questions. He could have poked fun at some of the reporters, which he would have, and they missed up a good PR opportunity yesterday.
Well, that's probably true, and it just kind of shows you that these people aren't just out to see if they can get their mug in the media. They're there to do their job, and probably aren't thinking, what am I going to get the most bang for my buck for?
Yeah.
If we get on TV, we got to show everybody. It's just like you'll see certain politicians, and they're always in the news. McCain's one of them. Lindsey Graham's one of them.
Yeah.
Maxine Waters is one of them.
Oh, don't get me started on her.
Every time there's a camera, they got to be on it.
You mentioned Maxine Waters, and I was just letting my blood pressure come down from last half hour, and you did it again. This woman is one of and I don't care who's offended by this, she is absolutely, completely removed from the truth. She couldn't say the truth if she was forced to at gunpoint. How can she lie about not saying impeach Donald Trump, yelling and screaming impeach Donald Trump, and here a couple of days ago she said, well, I never said that.
These people are either delusional or senile, and I think there's some of both in their personalities, because they say stuff and then they retract it thinking nobody noticed. Well, hello, it's only gone out clear across the world.
Amen. We have a caller with a question. Go ahead quickly, caller. You're on the air. Talk to me, caller. Hurry. Well, evidently nobody's there.
With you in a second.
Well, hurry.
I got this new phone, and it's unbelievable.
Well, go ahead fast.
It's true what you're saying there, but But when it comes to the liberal media, all roads go back to the New York Times. You know, they have been the leader in denigrating this country for, you know, basically decades. The other night I watched the King of Kings, of course, is the From Birth to Resurrection of Jesus Christ. At the end of it, the host, Ben Mankiewicz, says the movie didn't get the success of Ben-Hur, but on the other hand, he read from the New York Times what their opinion was, and they just said it was basically a despicable movie and had no redeeming value.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this has been this was 1961.
You're right.
I mean, this goes back a long time. Zeb and I can remember those days, right, Zeb?
Absolutely remember the movie. I went to it when it first came out. All right. Listen, caller, I'm having an awful hard time hearing you with your new phone, so I appreciate your call. I don't want to cut you off, but I'm having a hard time. So thank you. Thank you very much.
This volume control on this thing is like it's unbelievable.
Okay, caller, we'll respond to...
I can hear you now. I hope you can hear me.
Well, I can, but quickly, go.
Well, the whole thing, I don't know if you heard just what I was saying there about the New York Times, because they were the ones that so-called put together all the information about how bad Bill O'Reilly. And we really don't know. It's basically he says, she says kind of situations. And but they've been trying to bring down Fox News. You know, Fox News was always brought up about being his number one enemy during the campaign for Hillary and so forth. And they've been a thorn in his side for a long, long time. And so anything they can do to bring down Fox News is just good for them.
Okay.
So, I'm sure they're cheering today, but I think Bill O'Reilly will be back someplace.
All right. Well, I thank you very much for your call, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Thank you very much. Rita.
Okay, you better have a great day.
Rita, I wanted to comment a little bit about Bill O'Reilly, and I had some people call me day before yesterday. And we talked. They both work for think tanks of government news back in New York and also Washington, D.C. And I know this sounds like I'm bragging like I did the first hour, but it's the truth. I knew that the end was near for O'Reilly. Before anybody else said anything on the media, I mentioned it yesterday, and I said before the end of the week he'd be gone and that Tucker Carlson would fill his spot. I had a gentleman call me during the 9 o'clock news yesterday after I had said that, and he absolutely said that's ludicrous. O'Reilly is too wealthy and makes too much money for Fox to be booted off. Well, that man was wrong. O'Reilly had some skeletons in his closet that caused and created this turmoil, and the Murdoch family was split over whether to keep O'Reilly or let him go, and finally the patriarch of the family, Rupert Murdoch, made the final decision to say, yes, the family is right, we're going to let him go and move Tucker Carlson into his time slot. Your thoughts, please.
Well, while all the stuff that you're saying may be true, I still feel like that the Murdochs are a bunch of liberals. They have no allegiance to conservatives. And I think that they'll see that they will lose probably the majority of their audience as they are getting rid of their conservative. And Bill O'Reilly isn't conservative necessarily, but you have to hand it to him. He was pretty much kind of in the middle. You know, he had put the issues out there, and I never considered him to be a conservative. But I will tell you one thing, and that is that when you get a bunch of liberals who think like I think the Rupert Murdoch family is thinking, and I think their thoughts are, you know what, we can have just as much success if we get a bunch of Democrats and a bunch of libs on there now that we've built up our base. I don't think they're even stopping to think, you know what, if they don't have certain people, they're going to lose their base, and Tucker Carlson's going to be the next one to go if Sean Hannity doesn't go first. They do not want anybody conservative in there. They don't want to bring the conservative news. They don't stop and look at it like, man, this is making us millions and millions of dollars. They look at it like, you know what, we want to have a forum and a place for the libs to hang out, and we're them. But it won't last.
Well, I have a different of opinion, but that's why I welcome you on this show, is that I have the difference of opinion on various subjects and stories. I disagree with you on this, and you have every right to have your opinion. Let's see what the caller has to say. Caller, good morning. Quickly, I have a weather forecast.
Quickly, the forces that brought down Roger Ailes, and none of this has ever been investigated, really. And he was the head of Fox News, and he was the genius behind Fox News, not Murdoch. And now they've taken out O'Reilly, who's been number one for 15 years. And, this is a big deal. But Roger Ailes and O'Reilly are not dead. And then if they want to take Hannity, then Carlson, let's face it, Carlson is a bulldog. He's a pit bull. And so right now it looks like they're trying to stay focused on what keeps their listeners or their viewers in there. I'll hang in there.
I appreciate it, Randy. Thank you very much. And, like I said earlier, everybody has a right to their own opinion, and I'll listen to those opinions on this program. That doesn't necessarily make me feel like I want to agree, nor will I. And I have my own opinions on this from the sources that I work with back in New York and D.C., and we'll see what brings forth the news in the next couple of days. I've got to take a break quickly and get the weather on, and then we'll have more. And I'm going to talk about Ann Coulter and her speech at Berkeley with Rita in just a moment. Don't forget Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And, of course, they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, retirement planning, payroll services, everything serving you. 2 locations, Burley and Rupert. Don't forget the best. Working and serving you, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Right now, here's the weather.
Rainy and windy is a typical spring mantra here in southern Idaho, and that's what we are going to expect for today. Here is your weather forecast. Winds out of the southwest, right around 24 miles an hour. We are expecting rain showers, about a 70% chance, off and on throughout the day, but mostly in the morning hours. High of 51, overnight low of 34. Tomorrow, winds are going to be dying down to about 13 miles an hour out of the west. Mostly sunny skies, high of 56 with an overnight low of 33. For the weekend, Saturday is going to be fairly nice. Partly cloudy skies, high of 65 with an overnight low of 44. Winds picking up again for Sunday. Afternoon rain showers are possible, about a 30% chance with a high of 62. And then as we kick off the work week on Monday, cloudy skies and 56. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thanks, I appreciate it. And right now, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company remind you that they've been serving you for well over 50 years. And they can help people starting a business or a partnership or a corporation or business owners wanting to hire new employees. They can help you. They are the business specialists. Give them a call. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, serving you. And sponsoring our weather. Rita, I wanted to ask you a little bit about what's going on with Ann Coulter. I was informed of this story a couple of days ago that it was going to blow up, and it has. She was scheduled to speak at Berkeley on next Thursday, the 27th, and they had the auditorium and everything all set up. Then the university got a hold of her and said, well, we're going to have a change of venue. Then they got a hold of her again and said, we're going to have a change of date. Then they got a hold of her again and said, well, we're not so sure we can have it on that date. And then they finally canceled. It's another instance of canceling conservative thought. What are your thoughts about Ann Coulter?
Well, Ann Coulter is an excellent conservative, and she makes some really good points, and the points that she makes are common sense. So really, to tell you the truth, they don't belong in a college because most colleges have no common sense. However, that being said, I think that, UC Berkeley has always been the free speech capital. We're going to be the ones who do the free speech. Well, okay, they have free speech, but somebody that has a different opinion can't speak. Well, that's just a bunch of baloney. In other words, if they speak what you want them to speak, you can have your say, and if not, we don't want you. Same thing happened with, I believe it was David Horowitz last week.
Yep.
He was supposed to speak also, and that was canceled because they didn't want to have somebody who is conservative, and we just can't expose our students to anything like that. It may may open their eyes is what they're really saying. They just want everybody to be in the dark, I guess. It's too bad because this is a public-funded school, and these are our tax dollars keeping them alive. But unless somebody starts really, cracking down on them, and that's people saying stuff and donors and that really making a big stink, it's not going to change.
Well, she did make an excellent point last night, and she reiterated the point again this morning on the news, that Attorney General Sessions should be made aware of the entirety of this situation and started an investigation because of public-funded universities and colleges. They can't do what they're doing to her and have done to Horowitz and other conservative speakers, but she's going to show up. I know her to the point where she is going to be there. She's going to speak even if it's under a lamppost on the corner of the university campus, and she said if they're going to arrest me, go ahead and arrest me. That's the spirit that conservatives need to have.
Oh, absolutely. And the more people will get up there and say, you know what, you can shout at me all you want, but you're not going to shout me down. I'm still going to get up there, and I'm going to say my piece. And if I'm saying it to nobody, then nobody has to hear it. That's fine. But I'm going to do it anyway. You're not going to intimidate me. Too often, we conservatives, and it's because we're conservative, we don't want to make a big splash, don't let this, we just go ahead and let it happen, say, well, if they don't want to hear me, fine. And we turn around and go back to where we were comfortable or where we were invited. And there's no sense in me, having a big argument with a bunch of people that you can't make any progress with. So I think that it's very notable and courageous of her to do that. I would hope there's going to be some news media there to show that it happened so that people kind of get the message of what's going out. And I think that Senator Jeff Sessions should take his investigation to them and start saying, "Hey, you're going off the other end. You talk about us not having a religion and stuff like that in our learning institutions. Well, you're doing just the same thing, only with politics, and you can't do that. You need to be even. You need to let both sides in. It's all right."
I've only got about 2.5 minutes left, but I want to just get a short dissertation from you on North Korea. I and you are pretty close to the same age, and we have seen what North Korea has tried to do over the many, many years and the absolutely inhumane treatment of their own people in their own country. How afraid, underline that word afraid, are you of this situation with North Korea?
Let's just say I don't lay awake at night worrying about it. One of my guys just stepped into my office the other day and says, "Rita, when things go bad, what are you going to do?" And he kind of pays attention to the news and stuff, and we've had a few of the conversations about being prepared and stuff. I said, "Oh, I'm just going to head to the bunker." And he said, "Do you have a bunker?" And I said, "Sure, it's my basement." So, I don't lay awake worrying about it. I hope nothing happens with it. I really think that if we were to put our total strength out there, we could keep anything from happening disastrous. So I think we're okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm just delusional too.
My thoughts, and just give me a quick response to this, that if you took China, Japan, South Korea, and us, 4 major powers, and just looked at that fat little Pillsbury doughboy Kim Jong-un and said, in 5 minutes, shut up or else. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think that's right. I think it ought to be more severe. I think they need to just take him out and say, you either get him out of power or we will.
Yeah.
And let China do it.
I agree. Anything going on with the Tea Party real fast?
Nope, we're not doing anything. Our meeting was last week, so we're not doing anything particular. We're just gearing up for May.
All right, Rita Ramsey, thank you so much for being on the program again. Have a wonderful week. Maybe it's going to warm up and the sun will shine. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, take care. That phone went down hard. Anyhow, don't forget, right now it's time to talk about some great places to go eat if you're hungry and starving to death. And I am. How about the AC Drive-In? I love the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. They've got a special for the month, shrimp and fries for just $6.50, and also fish and chips for just $6.50. Have you tried that new chicken fried steak sandwich? Delicious, along with the fries and the special fry sauce. All of this and more at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, let's head on over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. That new pork burrito with beans, pork, rice, sour cream, and cheese. Oh, dynamite. It is good. Or how about the breakfast burritos? Have you tried one of those? You'll go back and go back and go back. It is tremendous. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, let's head over to Burgers, etc. 2 locations, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. And remember this, after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, corn dogs and burritos only 99 cents. Oh, buddy. And every Sunday at the Burley store, shrimp dinners only $5.99. You better stop in today for all the burgers and the fish sandwiches. Everything's delicious at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, how about Steve-O's? Oh, what a great place to go. Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. And they've got that new salad. I'm drooling. It's so good. That new chicken breast with bacon and all the goodies. Oh, my. Along with the buffalo burgers and the different soups every day and the cupcakes. Oh, my. And the friendly servers, and they're open Monday to Saturday, 11 to 9. You're going to love Steve-O's in Hayburn. And last but not least, we don't want to forget Doc's Pizza. I love pizza. I love Doc's Pizza at 514 6th Street in Rupert. And now you can go in there and take a pizza home and bake it yourself. They've got take and bake pizzas. Wow. You better get in there today. And don't forget, too, they've got all the subs and the soups and the salads, all of this and more. Delicious, delicious food. Great people at Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Wow, I am. And right now I also want to remind you that we're going to be back next hour. We've got Cassia County School Days. We've got our business salute. Today we're going to be saluting Burley Physical Therapy and all kinds of goodies. So don't you go away. Zeb at the ranch, and we're going to turn it over to Old Wheels. Old Wheels. By the way, Wheels, you're going to be at Lunch Bunch, aren't you?
I am, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to bring my mom or my grandma today. So I'm just kind of flying solo.
Okay, well, call the tower before you take off, all right?
I will definitely do that probably right after the show.
All right, buddy. We're going to turn it over to you for the news from CBS. I'll be back in 6. Welcome back to our last hour on the program. As a matter of fact, it's even going to be a little shorter than that because on Lunch Bunch days, Old Wheels sits there and plays some music so I can get on the road and get over to Burley. Anyway, welcome to Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call, get on the route service 734-6969. Let's see. Oh, my goodness, there is a big sale going on at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. My goodness, they've got the no tax plan. It's a huge sale that's going to end the end of this month. I'll tell you, Jason Lee and his staff over there, they have put together a great big sale for you, and they've got living room sets on sale at prices that are unheard of, and they've got all their recliners on sale at prices that are unheard of. Well, I'm telling you, you better get over there. All the lift recliners and the Beauty Rest closeout mattress events going on. Oh, my goodness. You better stop in today. No money down, no interest for 12 months on approved credit. Great big sale at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see these really, really nice people today. I want to remind you again that Lunch Bunch is going to be at 11:30 today, and we're going to be over at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, and it's a special Lunch Bunch. We're going to have a big, really big, huge birthday party for Russell Smith. Russell, of course, a man that fought for this country and earned 3 Purple Hearts. He is now residing in the Idaho State Veterans Home in Pocatello. And to be very honest with you, he's just not doing so good. He's got some physical problems, and we just say our prayers are with you, Russell. Hang in there. And we're going to have a great big birthday party today at Denny's Restaurant. We're thanking, of course, our friends with Smith's Food, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes, Doug Martin, etc., and they help supply our prizes for our door prize drawings. But we got a lot of things to do today at Lunch Bunch at Denny's, America's Diner. Don't you miss it. Well, right now, we're very, very close to having our next segment on the program. It's called Cassia County School Days, and it's brought to you by 2 great businesses, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness, you better get in and check out all the spring outfits for just 20% off. I mean, holy cow, save a lot of money. And some of the baby cribs are 50% off. And you can set up a baby registry with discount cards. Oh, my goodness. All of this and more at a family store, A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, along with the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue, Suite E in Burley, for your outpatient surgeries, and they can save you money. And glaucoma surgery, it's the only place in southern Idaho to have this procedure. Knee pain, colonoscopies, please call and find out more at 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. With me for school days in Cassia County right now is the fiscal manager for the Cassia County School District, and that's Chris James. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm excellent. It's a beautiful, rainy spring day.
That's Mr. Optimism right there. I like that. Chris, I am not a man of numbers. I am not a man that can sit there with my glasses on and figure all the different schematics and the way things have to apply to running a school district, etc. But you, of course, as the fiscal manager, you have to crunch all the numbers. Tell us a little bit about your job. What do you do, and how do you do it?
Sure, that's a great question. I've been with the school district about 3.5 years. Prior to that, I was in banking and finance. But yes, I'm mostly responsible for the overall budget of the school district, and that comes from state, local, and federal funds. It's a $40+ million budget. We have about 2,500 to 3,000 ledger accounts that I set up budgets for and monitor throughout the year to make sure that each specific grant or fund is not going over their budget, and that we're following the rules of those grants. So it's a pretty time-consuming job, especially at certain times of the year.
Let me ask you.
We set up the budget. We have the budget hearing, and then we do our annual audit. Those are the things that keep me busy through the summer months here. In the winter months, that's where we do our planning and planning ahead and those kind of things.
Okay, now, Chris, is it fair and honest and balanced to say that when questions arise about the economics of the situation of the school district, literally at your desk, the buck stops here?
Yes. I mean, I try to, when we're developing budgets, we try to get input from all the stakeholders, so principals. Of course, we have negotiations with the teachers, and then we try to get input from, the school board and the administration and the superintendent. And so I don't necessarily set all the budgets, but I take their input and then try to make the numbers work to fulfill the plan that they have for the
Now, this year, right now, there isn't any levy or bond election that is scheduled for this fiscal year. However, what about giving us an update as to what's been spent, how it's going to be spent, and what's happening? Give us kind of an update.
Sure. Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to come on, but we can talk about anything you want. So the State Department of Education, they publish every year a list of it's called tax levies for school purposes, and that's where they publish the levy rates for all the school districts in Idaho. And you mentioned that you're not a number person. I like numbers to a certain degree as long as they tell a story. So if it's just if I'm just looking at a mindless report, that isn't interesting to me. But if I can see trends, if I can see things that stick out to me and that tell a story about what's going on, that's what's interesting to me. So you mentioned levies. We had a bond levy election in 2015, and for new construction that's going on now. And then last year, in 2016, we paid off the bond that was passed in 1997. So, old debt was paid off and new debt's on the books. And that, over time can change what taxpayers pay. So I had sent you some documents, but in 1997, the tax levy rate. Are you familiar with that term, a tax levy rate?
Yes.
So the levy rate is assigned by the county based on information we give them based on taxes that the voters have passed. And so if you take that levy rate and times it by the value of your property, it shows how much you're paying to the school district or whoever the taxing entity is. It may be the county, it may be, a highway district or a cemetery district or whoever has the tax out. So our tax levy rate in 1997, because that's when we passed the last bond that was to build Burley High School, Deckel High School, the levy rate at that time was 0.0076.
Mm-hmm.
So you would take that times 100,000. That has dropped over time. And in 2016, which was the last year we levied for, it was 0.0029. So it's gone from 0.0076 to 0.0029. So per 100,000 of property tax, people are paying a lot less than they did in the 90s and the 2000s. And there's some reasons for that. I mean, there's a story behind it.
Okay.
Am I boring anybody?
No, I had a question right here that I thought I'd interject to make sure we don't run out of time. But what about property values and the rise and the fall or the influx of the values, and what would happen on a levy or a bond issue if all of a sudden there was a devastating event or happening that would just lower the property values into the tank? What would you do, and how would they affect already existing levy issues and bond issues?
Sure, that's a good question. So, as you know, property tax values have been very stable in Cassie County. Even slightly increasing over the years. We didn't suffer from the huge property declines that Arizona and California, Florida, and some of those places did. Even the Treasure Valley. It's been pretty stable here, and that's helped keep the levy rate low and the funding stable. I think there's a little over $1.3 billion of assessed property in Cassie County, and that's increased a little over each of the years, and so that's kept it steady. Now, if that were to decline drastically, then you would expect probably more people would be paying more a higher levy rate. So that's one of the factors that's declined, that's kept this levy rate in half. The other factors are also in 2005, between 2005 and 2006, the legislature changed from funding schools out of property tax to funding them out of sales tax. So they increased sales tax from 5 cents to 6 cents. That extra penny they're using to help fund schools. And so you'll see on the chart I sent you, and which I've also posted on our website, From 2005 to 2006, you saw the tax rates cut in half.
Right.
A drop again in 2008.
Right.
That's when they refinanced the 97 bond to get lower interest rates. So the school board was proactive at that point to save the taxpayers some money, refinancing the bond to get a lower rate. And so all those things over time have helped keep the tax rate low.
Let me ask you, I was looking at the graphs, and I am not a person for graphs and numbers, and I apologize for that. It's just not my bailiwick. But is it safe in assuming and making the statement that the Cassia County school system is actually, as compared to many other school systems like Twin Falls or Hanson or American Falls, etc., much more economical and less costly for the patrons and the school itself?
Yeah, that is a good point to make. So, because Cassia County is a county-wide school district, same as Minidoka, we have a much bigger tax base than a small district, maybe like Filer or Hanson or Aberdeen. So that the dollars that you're spending to support your kids is spread over a bigger tax base, and you actually end up paying a lot less. So Cassia and Minidoka County, as far as compared to tax levies of other places, people are paying a lot less per 100,000. And that's not to pick on any of these other school districts. They just have different circumstances, maybe smaller students, bigger tax base.
Right. Okay, now we have a caller with... Go ahead, please. Chris, we have a caller with a question. I'm sorry, that sound interrupted you, and I apologize. But, caller, we only have about a minute and a half left, so go ahead with your question for Chris James, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty quick here. I just need to know how, if he knows, how urban renewals affect the taxes that the Cassia County School District receives, because as I understand it, urban renewal districts create a tax shift that removes the urban renewal monies from the tax base. Now, I know that Burley just set up its fifth urban renewal tax base that extends here west of town. So if he could speak to that, I'd appreciate it.
All right, sir, thank you. And, Chris, if you would please address the caller.
Yeah, I'm certainly not an expert on urban renewal, so how I request, the voted upon amount from the county, and when I get those county payments, the urban renewal dollars are subtracted out of it. Now I still get enough to make my bond payment and everything. I'm not sure that urban renewal dollars stay within the urban renewal district and they go for economic development. But since then, I think there's been a change in the laws regarding urban renewal districts, and so I think schools on some of the newer urban renewal districts are not penalized by the creation of those urban renewal districts. As far as not getting dollars from those, I believe that's correct. Now, if you talk to Mark Mitten at the city or one of the legislators that understands urban renewal better than I do, they could explain that. But yes, there are some that are protected. The school could not levy on, but I believe that's changed.
All right. I want to say I'm sorry I'm out of time because even though it's not a subject that I'm that familiar with, I found it to be very interesting, and I thank you very much, Chris James, the fiscal manager for the Cassia County Joint School District. Thank you for being on the program, and plan to come back in the future. Thank you, sir.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice man and very knowledgeable, Mr. Chris James with the Cassia County School District, and I appreciate that. When it comes to crunching the numbers, yours truly is not a good cruncher. And, of course, School Days in Cassia County brought to you by two great businesses, A Child's World at 1308 Oberlin in Burley, and, of course, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue, Suite E in Burley. Thank you very much for bringing us School Days in Cassia County. You know what? I'm going to check with Wheels real quick. Wheels, I will be going to our next guest in just a moment, so stand by. I want to remind everybody that the birds are chirping in the trees, if they got their raincoats on. And, of course, the flowers are blooming. Well, don't forget it's springtime, and Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, they are offering up to $1,700 rebate on qualifying new Lennox home comfort systems that can keep your home feeling just perfect inside. inside, no matter what's happening outside. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459. Let's go to the phone line right now. I get a chance to talk to an old friend of mine, and that's Nick Greenwell over at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. How are you? What's that clearing of your voice? Wheels.
I apologize. I had called into the office, and one of the gentlemen was just making sure that Nick was in the office today to talk to you.
Okay, do you have him on the line?
I don't.
Well, now, wait a minute. Deanne sent you information about a cell phone number. Did you get that information on your phone?
I didn't.
All right, you quickly check that out, and I'll give you the number. It is, you should have that right there with you, 431-0196. You call him immediately, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. We'll have Nick on the phone in just a moment. Right now, I want to remind everybody about Kelly's Bearings. Hello, everybody over at Kelly's Bearings. And I want to remind everybody they're located at 1407 East Main in Burley. Zach, Brett, and we've got a new name to add to the fray, and that's Alex. You bet they're all listening. Don't let your machine sit idle while you're waiting for a part to come in. Go to Kelly's Bearing Supply. They keep everything on hand so you don't have to waste your time or money. They always say you'll know where you are when you get your bearings at Kelly's. Love that. 1407 East Main Street in Burley. Kelly's Bearing Supply. You stop in and see them today. Wheels, have you got him on the line?
I'm getting him on.
All right. Thank you very much. I believe he's going to be on the phone with us momentarily. And do we have him? All right. Hello, Nick.
Zeb, how are you?
I am fantastic. Where are you, my friend? We couldn't find you.
Oh, my gosh. Sorry, I had to step out. I'm getting ready to get drilled on by my dentist, it looks like.
Oh, my goodness. Let me spare the agony and the pain. It's going to hurt. You're going to cry. You're going to be on your knees begging for mercy, boy.
I probably will. It'll be a nice roll reversal. Too bad you're not here to see it, so you me actually in agony instead of you, huh?
I would relish, honestly, I'd slip the dentist a $20 bill under the chair if he could just kind of wrangle a little bit more pain out of you.
Oh, I know.
Well, what's going on at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation? First of all, I want to say this on the air publicly. I apologize. I have let my schedule demand and command where I'm supposed to be, and one of the places I should have been a long time ago was having you work on my leg again down there, and I apologize to you. So I wanted to say that on the air.
Well, as long as you get it out there in the open and accept responsibility and ownership, we're good. So get in when you can, and I'll be happy to get a hold of you and twist you into a knot.
One of the bylines that I always say about your business is that Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation can help you get back to being you. Isn't that what it's all about?
Absolutely, yeah. We want people in the most functional lifestyle they can and as little pain as they can so they can get back out on a football field or be able to get out and enjoy wildlife and wherever with their grandkids or just have a more functional lifestyle at home. So whatever we can help with, we'll do a personalized treatment plan and get you back to being you.
Okay, now let me ask you this. I noticed that springtime, everybody's been cooped up all winter, and all of a sudden they say, holy smokes, look at my yard. I got to get out there and I got to clean this up. I've got to cut those tree limbs off. I've got to do this, that, and the other. Is the spring the most hazardous time for people to suffer some injuries?
Absolutely. It's one of the most hazardous times. Obviously, when the ice comes in the winter, we have people falling and doing all kinds of things like that, but probably next to that, I would say, that the springtime's tough because exactly that. You've been cooped up all winter. People haven't been moving. They haven't been stretching. They haven't been conditioning their bodies. And then all of a sudden we get, this beautiful weekend of wonderful weather and everybody's out in their flower gardens bending over and twisting and turning, digging with shovels and cleaning out flower beds and all that kind of stuff. So we see tons and tons of lumbar sprains and strains and tendonitis and all kinds of things like that. So yes, it's a busy time for us.
Okay, now also, somebody asked me the other day, do they need to make special allowances or get special information necessary and put together to go to Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation? Do they need doctor's referrals? What's the procedure?
Not necessarily. Idaho is a direct access state, meaning that physical therapists can practice without physician referral. However, there's a caveat to that. If you're going to use insurance, which most people do, a lot of, I would say a majority of insurances do require a physician referral. It's an easy process, and we can typically just call the doctor's office. We're familiar enough with most of the doctors that refer patients to us in the area that we can just give them a call and say, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so is having some, back pain and they'd like to get in and try some therapy. And a lot of times, though, we can just do it over the phone. So, yeah, if you want your insurance to kick in, typically we do need a referral, but if you're just wanting to come in and get some tips and do a few things, then we're happy to do that, and we do not need a physician referral for that.
Okay, now, Nick, let's talk a little bit about the people. I am very, very impressed with your people. They are friendly, they are courteous, and above all, they're knowledgeable. Each and every physical therapist working there at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, they know what to do.
We have a fantastic staff. We've been together for a long time. Collectively, we have a lot of experience. I opened the practice in 1999, and obviously have been there ever since, and I've kind of surrounded myself with very knowledgeable and skilled therapists and therapy assistants. And so, yes, we're very proud of that, and that's one of the things that I like to stand by is the quality of our staff. From the moment you walk in the door to talk to the receptionist, to later on in the game when we're dealing with billing and insurance and all kinds of stuff like that. I feel like we have a very, very, very versatile and very experienced staff.
Okay, quickly, and you have the only hydrotherapy pool in the area, and me, the old beached whale, I've used it quite a few times.
Absolutely, yeah. We are really, really proud of our HydroWorks therapy pool. We use it all day, every day, and have for a number of years. We treat everything from childhood issues from cerebral palsy and spasticity, where we use the water to kind of help decrease the tone in the muscles and allow them to be able to stretch and move and exercise without a lot of pain and restriction, all the way through the gamut of non-weight-bearing issues that we can get in the pool and start early, to folks with spinal cord issues, to folks with arthritis that need to just get into a warm environment, lubricate those joints without a lot of impact.
All right, Nick, it's that time. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And the number to call, 678-1191. I can't delay it any longer. Nick, put your chin up in the air. Be brave. Take that long walk down the hall to that dentist chair and see your whole life flashing in front of you, and let them go ahead and do those fillings. Be brave, young man.
I am on it. I will do it. I will be brave. Try not to cry.
All right. Nick Greenwell, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. God bless you, man. Thanks for being on the program.
Thanks. Appreciate the call.
All right. Thank you. All righty. Let's go right now in a hurry over to our main studios. I'll be right back.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, and away we go. Thank you. And we're going to be taking off out of here in a few minutes and driving the speed limit to Burley. I emphasize that. I know I'm going to get picked up. Anyway, driving the speed limit to Burley for lunch bunch in just a few moments. I wanted to remind everybody, too, this is a very important meeting, and we had Senator Kelly Anthon on the program Monday, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. And there is going to be a very big, important town hall meeting at the historic Wilson Theater. It's going to be Monday, this coming Monday, April 24th at 7 p.m. And they're going to be discussing the general obligation bond measure. It's a $3.96 million general obligation bond measure, and it's all about infrastructure, water and sewer systems, classrooms, everything over in the Rupert area, along with the Rupert Senior Center, the square, etc. Don't miss this meeting. And if you'd like more information on this meeting, and it starts at 7 o'clock on Monday night, call the Rupert City Hall at 436-9600 or email City Administrator Kelly Anthon at kelly.anthon@rupert.id.us. And they'll see you at the big meeting on Monday evening. We're, in just a moment, I want to really emphasize a lot of our true American heroes, they're not on TV. They're not at major sporting events or whatever. They may be your neighbor down the road or your neighbor up the block. And that's exactly what we're going to honor today. As we go to Lunch Bunch, we're going to be honoring an American hero. And when I've heard his story about being in the United States Army and 3 times a recipient of the Purple Heart, fighting for you and I and the freedom of this country, I well up with tears, thinking about how really honored I am to know this man, Russell Smith. Now, as I stated earlier, we were hoping that Russell Smith could come down from Pocatello, and his caretaker, Brenda, they were trying to make it so that he could be here. And really, it's a heartbreaking story, but his physical and his health have deteriorated. And I was told last night that Russell is suffering from pneumonia, and it's really not good. He's on a respirator and everything. So this is why it's even more important for me to have this special Lunch Bunch birthday party for Russell Smith today at 11:30. And I urge you to bring your cards and your letters there. I guarantee you we will get them sent to Russell at the Idaho State Veterans Home, 1957, Alvin Ricken Drive, room 70 in Pocatello. And we're also going to video everything at Lunch Bunch today. And we're going to have people wishing him a very happy birthday, the sound and the video and everything. And we're going to make sure that he gets an entire tape of what goes on at Lunch Bunch, because this man means so much to me and the rest of the Lunch Bunchers and the community for what he's done for our great country, Russell Smith. And so, Russell, if you're listening on the computer, zebbell.com, the website, God bless you, man, and we wish you could be here, but there's going to be a lot of great people, and we're going to honor you at 11:30 at Denny's America's Restaurant. So, thank you very much. One of the things I need to do right now, and Wheels is going to help me, we're going to do a weather forecast, and shortly I'm going to jump in the pick-em-up truck and drive the speed limit to Burley. Don't forget Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew, 324-7657. And you can go to their website, too, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious breakfast sausages and the bratwurst and the new buckboard bacon, leaner and more economical than traditional bacon. And it comes in many, many different flavors like lemon pepper and smokehouse barbecue, ranch. Oh, that ranch must be delicious. Anyway, you check it out today at Scarrow's Meats, changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Here's Gina with the weather.
Rainy and windy is a typical spring mantra here in southern Idaho, and that's what we are going to expect for today. Here is your weather forecast. Winds out of the southwest, right around 24 miles an hour. We are expecting rain showers, about a 70% chance, off and on throughout the day, but mostly in the morning hours. High of 51, overnight low of 34. Tomorrow, winds are going to be dying down to about 13 miles an hour out of the west. Mostly sunny skies, high of 56 with an overnight low of 33. For the weekend, Saturday is going to be fairly nice. Partly cloudy skies, high of 65 with an overnight low of 44. Winds picking up again for Sunday. Afternoon rain showers are possible, about a 30% chance with a high of 62. And then as we kick off the work week on Monday, cloudy skies and 56. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
She does a great job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And, of course, the weather brought to you by Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Yep, telephone number 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. You know, we have some great people and great businesses right here in our backyard. And one of those businesses that I have never had on my program, and I'm going to try to get them interviewed next Monday at 10:06, Stanley Hay Company from over in the Eden-Hazleton area. And they ship hay and hay products all over the world, and I thought it'd be really interesting to get them on the air next week. So I think they're going to be on during the 10:06 hour as one of our featured guests for next week. So, you know, sometimes you don't even see the flowers because the flower garden's in the way. Well, I apologize. I should have had these folks on my program a long time ago. Hey, don't forget our friends that are serving you with a great big spring tire sale. Yep, it's spring, and you're getting ready to go to Grandma and Grandpa's and Aunt Martha and Uncle Pete's and all those people. And, well, you need tires. You need safe driving tires, and that's why I urge you to stop into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers today, all 7 locations serving you, and they've got many of their tires on sale at prices that you can't afford to pass up. So, you know there's a big spring tire sale. And before you take a little bit of leave to go on that road trip, make sure that you've got the best in brakes and brake service. And they do offer the best in the most professional brake service at all the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Front end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries. But above all, it's the service. They really take care of you. So stop in today to your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wheels, are you by your microphone and paying attention?
I am, and I got some few songs loaded for you. They are patriotic because of Russell Smith today. So
good man. You know, Wheels, you're doing a great job over there, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at Lunch Bunch in just a very few minutes. And it's going to be a fun birthday party for Russell Smith, and I'm glad you can be there. I'm sorry that your mom and grandma can't be there today, but I know you're going to fly solo, so call the tower, get permission to take off. I'm going to take off right now, and we're going to wish everybody a very safe, sane weekend. And remember, we'll be back here at 8:06 on Monday, and the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless you. We'll see you at Lunch Bunch at America's Diner, Denny's. Wheels, take it away, buddy. Thank you.